Hello everyone, what a pleasure it is to be presenting this school budget crafted with our earliest learners in mind. Before I begin, I would just like to say that you should have received a 3-page packet titled ECE School Budget Plan Overview. This document highlights the key components of the budget as well as provides citations for the resources that support much of what is represented in the slide deck. You will also notice that the stapled second page provides a copy of the overall budget spreadsheet, with the third page requesting any feedback that you think would enhance this presentation and/or the experience for our scholars. Please note that there will be 3 to 5 minutes provided at the conclusion of this presentation to complete that feedback questionnaire. Also, it is important to keep in mind that there are many brains behind this plan, and there will continue to be more that inspire the creation of this ECE school budget. You could be one of them. That being said, questions are absolutely welcome at will throughout this presentation, as well as the structured time slated at the end. Let's begin. Just so that we have some context for this ECE school budget presentation, here is an outline. Let me provide approximately 20 seconds for everyone to review, and then we will move forward together. This begins my favorite part, the why behind the construction for a school budget for early learners. The unfortunate but real understanding we have to embrace is that the United States does not offer universal pre-kindergarten, meaning not all of our children are able to begin attending school at an early age. Thus, there is an imbalance in learning opportunities for scholars at such a crucial time in their individual development. With this understanding in mind, I was driven to establish an ECE school budget where more of our nation's youngest scholars would get the opportunity to receive an early education. While there were a multitude of challenges, which we will address in later slides, it did not stop us from wanting so deeply to incorporate more of our youngest scholars in our school's learning community. It's not enough, though, for us to just open a school. Rather, we need to be grounded in our ECE school vision that allows scholars to begin engaging in meaningful and joyful learning experiences at a young age. In this environment, scholars are participating in foundational and developmentally appropriate learning opportunities. They are developing a love for school and are establishing deep relationships with their peers and school staff. Even more specifically, our school's key program features include providing meaningful learning opportunities for our youngest learners, placing a strong emphasis on social-emotional learning, and data tracking for academic, social-emotional, and joy at school. Providing meaningful learning opportunities for our youngest learners, especially including hands-on, brains-on learning, through a hands-on, brains-on learning approach, there is the requirement that we are giving scholars multiple modes in which to access curriculum. One example may include, but is not limited to, providing scholars with alternative mediums such as shaving cream, wiki sticks, or stamps in order for them to practice writing their name. This would allow us to reach scholars who need more sensory learning opportunities while at the same time staying married to our vision of providing meaningful and joyful learning opportunities for our scholars. From a fiscal perspective, our budget does reflect a surplus that could be used in this manner if it was deemed best for our students. If that was not the case, we as a school community could get creative in seeking additional support within our community as well as outside of it. In regards to the brains-on approach, this is the challenge for all school staff to make sure that every scholar is actively engaging in learning experiences throughout the course of the school day. This will require constant analysis and reflection of our practice, coupled with staff development opportunities, which will be prioritized by the principal, as well as the specialists that serve K1 to 1 and grades 2 through 3. More regarding roles will be presented in upcoming slides. Placing a strong emphasis on social emotional learning is also a priority, or as we call it, a key program feature, as it will help scholars build strong understandings of themselves and their individual needs. It will provide scholars with the tools necessary to develop productive and positive interactions with others, thus allowing scholars the chance to demonstrate strong academic growth. Education Resource Strategies, a resource that supports strong school foundations, expresses that students need to be given developmentally appropriate opportunities in the classroom in order to practice core competencies, such as self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. Skills we may take for granted as adults, but we absolutely need to prioritize and value for the development of our youngest learners. In addition, we are also a school that will prioritize data tracking in order to understand academic growth, social emotional development, and how scholars feel about school. While we very much value the academic growth and social emotional development mediums for collecting data within the school, we will also be working diligently to make sure that we are regularly ascertaining feedback from families regarding how their scholars feel about their school experience. With those key program features in mind, we're now going to start looking at the information that is reflected in our final budgeting spreadsheet template, which we will reference shortly. We see in this slide that our school has a total student population of 640 students overall. This is so exciting because it is allowing us to get closer to our vision of giving more of our youngest learners the opportunity to attend school. Our school has a staffing plan that consists of one principal and one assistant principal, as well as an administrative assistant. Teachers have class sizes between 20 and 24 students, with our kindergarten classes also receiving aid support. In addition, there are special education supports, as well as specialist supports for every grade level. This slide specifically indicates the number of teachers and aides allotted for each grade level, yielding a total amount of 29. Just to recap, our program features are providing meaningful learning opportunities for our youngest learners, placing a strong emphasis on social emotional learning, and data tracking for academic, social, emotional, and joy at school. We as a school believe that in order to push those program features, some actions that we need to take are continue to work to keep class sizes small and make sure that we're providing adequate teacher support and development. I would love to highlight some of the research, especially in relation to adequate teacher support. Education Resource Strategies expresses that the provision of adequate teacher support requires significant shifts in how school systems organize resources, moving away from one-size-fits-all workshops and paying for advanced degrees toward time and instructional leaders to help teachers engage with the curriculum and adjust to students' results. With this understanding, amongst other research, our school has placed emphasis on making sure that every grade level has grade-level specific special education support, as well as a specialist whose ultimate role is to make sure that each grade level is receiving targeted support and development that they need to best serve their scholars. Up until this point, this presentation has been rooted in our vision, the program features and actions that our school is planning to take in order to support those elements of our school's development. Now we are going to shift gears slightly and focus our attention on our school budget spreadsheet. It is the second page of your session handout. Please take a moment to look over this budget spreadsheet. After reviewing the budget spreadsheet, we were able to achieve a break even by increasing the number of students enrolled, especially in grades where the ratio of teacher to student can be maximized. In addition, the increase in enrollment also covered some of the consistent invariable costs. For instance, the leadership costs were further supported by an increase in student enrollment for grades 1 through 3. Please take 20 seconds to review the provided revenue and expense chart to see what you notice. When looking at these charts, it is important to note that 99% of the revenue derives from our general education student population, and the expenses showcase approximately 72% for staffing, which aligns with best practice, 24% for overhead costs, and a surplus of 4%. This budget exists with a number of strengths. However, there are also a few potential budget shortcomings that have been thought through and will continue to be addressed. Those include, but are not limited to, having enough revenue for uncertainty. In addition, there may also be a struggle to gain access to unique and necessary school supplies. Research has indicated that schools routinely underestimate costs in their startup planning in two areas: hefty consultant fees for teacher training and costly facility remodeling and purchasing. It will be important to think creatively about how to ascertain materials, seek support from outside organizations, consistently measure and reevaluate our priorities when and if necessary, and track our expenditures very tightly. This concludes our ECE school budget presentation. Are there any remaining questions? Wonderful. Please take the final 3 to 5 minutes to complete the survey provided on the third page of your budget handout. Your feedback has the potential to improve learning experiences for 640 students, as well as the staff and families that are a part of this school community. Our scholars deserve all your input. Thank you.